This is going to blow your mind. China has just put a $10 billion offer on the table for the Philippines, and the shockwaves could upend all of Asia. It began with a whisper, a rumor that slithered through the corridors of power in Manila, Washington, and Beijing. Then a leak, a document stamped with the seal of a clandestine diplomatic channel, its contents so explosive they threatened to shatter Southeast Asia's fragile peace. The claim? A staggering $10 billion offer from China to the Philippines. This wasn't just a deal, it was a geopolitical earthquake. Imagine stacks of currency, gleaming new infrastructure, and a promise of prosperity that could redefine a nation's future. But this golden handshake came with a poison pill. The document detailed a secret proposal made directly to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. $10 billion in cash, investments, and exclusive economic deals. In exchange, the Philippines would have to do just one thing: tear up its 74-year-old military alliance with the United States. It was a move designed to evict America from its most strategic foothold in the region and redraw the map of global power. The implications are breathtaking. This wasn't a negotiation, it was a buyout, a corporate-style takeover of a sovereign nation's foreign policy, bankrolled by the world's next superpower. The audacity of the offer left seasoned diplomats speechless. We're talking about a sum that could alter the Philippine economy and lift millions out of poverty, but at what cost? The world is holding its breath, waiting to see if a nation's sovereignty can be bought for a price tag. The game has begun. To grasp the magnitude of China's alleged offer, you must understand the sacred pact it sought to break. The Mutual Defense Treaty between the Philippines and the United States, signed in 1951, is more than a piece of paper. It's a solemn promise. An attack on one is an attack on both. This alliance is the reason American warships patrol the South China Sea and why US forces train with their Filipino counterparts. These aren't just war games, they're a powerful deterrent to Beijing's expansionism. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement sites are strategic outposts, giving the US access to key locations and checking Chinese aggression. For the US, the Philippines is a strategic linchpin, a gateway to the Pacific, and a checkpoint for global trade. Losing this foothold would be a catastrophic blow to American influence in Asia. For the Philippines, the treaty is a great equalizer, providing the backing of a superpower against its giant neighbor. This is what China, with its $10 billion, tried to dismantle. Let's be clear, this was no act of charity. The $10 billion offer was a hostile takeover bid designed to be irresistible. The leaked details revealed direct cash injections, massive infrastructure projects, and exclusive rights to resources, but only under Beijing's control. The central non-negotiable condition: abolish the Mutual Defense Treaty and evict all US forces. This would blind the United States in a region of vital importance. The offer was a Trojan horse. On the outside, a gift. Inside, a trap. Had it been accepted, it would have signaled the most significant shift in Asian power since the Cold War. An American treaty ally switching sides for cash would shatter perceptions of US reliability and create a power vacuum for China to fill. China was betting that the promise of new hospitals, schools, and jobs would outweigh the value of a decades-old treaty. They were attempting to monetize sovereignty, to put a price tag on allegiance. The Philippines was being asked to trade its shield for a bag of gold. Why would China make such a risky offer? The answer: total dominance. The US military presence in the Philippines is a critical barrier to China's ambitions. Removing America would give Beijing a free hand in the region, especially the South China Sea. Without the alliance, China could enforce its claims, militarize islands, and bully its neighbors. The waterway, vital for global trade, would become a Chinese lake. Evicting the US would also complicate any American defense of Taiwan, giving China a decisive advantage. This is about rewriting the rules of the global order, replacing the US-led system with one centered on Beijing. Getting the US out of the Philippines is the first domino. If it falls, others will follow. This wasn't just an offer for bases. It was an offer to buy a future where America is absent and China is supreme. The stakes couldn't be higher. In a moment that will be studied for decades, President Marcos did the unthinkable. He said no. The $10 billion offer was unequivocally rejected. This was a thunderous declaration of principle over profit. The offer was seen as an insulting attempt to purchase the country's allegiance, a betrayal of every Filipino who has ever stood for independence. Marcos reportedly viewed the choice as one between being a leader of a sovereign republic and a governor of a Chinese province. Military and strategic considerations were crucial. Abandoning the US alliance would gut the country's only credible defense against Chinese aggression. The rejection was a vote of confidence in the armed forces of the Philippines and their strategic plan. Accepting the money would have created dangerous economic dependency on China, a partner known for weaponizing trade. The Marcos administration recognized that true security comes from diverse partnerships, not a single domineering benefactor. Rejecting the offer kept the Philippines' options open and its sovereignty intact. A rejection of this magnitude does not go unanswered. Beijing is furious, publicly dismissing the story, but privately seething at the insult. The first line of attack: economic pressure. Expect slowdowns in Chinese investments, delays in infrastructure projects, and new barriers for Philippine exports. Chinese tourism may dry up, and trade restrictions will quietly bite. Simultaneously, aggression in the West Philippine Sea will escalate. More harassment, more dangerous maneuvers, more swarming of Filipino-held features. China will test the limits of the US-Philippine alliance, hoping to sow doubt and division. Finally, a massive information war will flood Philippine social media with propaganda, painting the Marcos government as foolish and the US as the real aggressor. The objective poison public opinion and undermine the government's legitimacy. The battle for the Philippines will now be fought at sea and in the minds of its citizens. While Beijing fumes, Washington quietly celebrates. The rejection of China's offer is seen as a strategic victory for the US. But this is no time for complacency. The US will double down on support for the Philippines. Expect accelerated deliveries of advanced military hardware and upgrades to EDCA sites. The message: you chose us and we'll ensure you can defend your sovereignty. Diplomatically, the US will further integrate the Philippines into a broader security network involving allies like Japan and Australia. The goal: build a united front that's harder for China to intimidate. This episode gives the US a powerful talking point. Alliances based on respect, not submission. The US offers a shield, China offers a golden leash. Marcos's rejection hands America a moral and strategic advantage on the world stage. By rejecting China's billions, the Philippines has made a choice, one with profound consequences. The nation is now a frontline state in the great power competition between the US and China. This new status brings immense risks, increased regional tension, a volatile West Philippine Sea, and the constant threat of escalation. Filipino fishermen and Coast Guard personnel will be on the front lines, facing a larger, more aggressive adversary. The era of peace is over. Confrontation has begun, yet this position also elevates the Philippines' global importance. As a committed ally, Manila will gain a stronger voice and greater support from the US, Japan, Australia, and others. The Philippines can leverage this to attract better investments and modernize its economy and military. Ultimately, this is a defining moment for Filipino identity, a test of unity, courage, and resilience. The Philippines has chosen its side in the defining struggle of our time. So here we are at the precipice of a new era in Asia, defined by one nation's monumental choice. The $10 billion offer is a parable for our time's sovereignty versus a pile of cash. President Marcos chose to honor a 74-year-old promise and uphold his country's dignity, turning his back on a fortune. Was it the right decision? Realists will argue he should have taken the money. Idealists say some things are priceless. Independence, self-determination, and freedom from coercion can't be bought. By saying no, Marcos affirmed the Philippines is not a pawn, but a player with its own destiny. He chose a harder road, but one the Philippines will walk with its head held high. Was rejecting China's offer the end of the story, or just the beginning? As China's power grows, this choice will be presented again and again to the Philippines and others. What do you think? Leave your comments below and subscribe for more uncensored analysis.